Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Do you feel stuck, silent, and stressed? Is something hurting your heart and soul? Are you burning yourself out? If so, you are in the right place because this is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with inner peace and joy. Let's get started. Hey, last episode, I told you about a very specific tool that I love to use when it comes to practicing forgiveness. It's called the loving kindness meditation. Now, I told you that it's very, very easy for you to just go online and Google loving kindness meditation, and lots of sites will pop up which will give you detailed instructions on exactly how to engage in the loving kindness meditation, including free audios that you can download and use to engage in the loving kindness meditation as a guided process. So I hope you did that, but just in case you didn't, I will take some time today just to give you a really quick overview of the process. And then I want to dig deeper into, sort of an examination of what that process is. Not necessarily what that process is, but why I love this process so much. There's so much hidden wisdom and beauty that is embedded within this process that I think is really great to reflect on and to become aware of, because then we can apply it in our life on a broader level and in other contexts as well, right? Because this tool, it's absolutely wonderful and beautiful and perfect to use whenever, you are dealing with any kind of conflict with another person. Whenever you have some kind of negative feelings that you're holding on to towards a person and you want to move forward from that, you want to heal a relationship, the loving kindness meditation is a great tool that you can use to help you along that process. But there's just but it's like, if once you understand the principles and the ideas that are embedded in it, and the wisdom behind why it's structured and the way it's structured, then you can apply those principles and those ideas and that wisdom to help you in lots of other kinds of situations as well. All right. So let me, with that thought, just give you a really quick overview of the process that you go through when engaging in the loving kindness meditation. So you may find some variations to this, but this is how I practice it personally. It's a 4-step process. Okay, and basically the overall goal with the loving kindness meditation is to practice being loving and kind, is to practice loving kindness, right? So that is the intention behind all 4 steps of the process. Now, and the way that we do it is very simple. Because if you're thinking about, I have to practice being loving, kind, well, there's so many different ways you could do that. So how do we do it in the context of the meditation? Well, it is a meditation, right? It's a thinking meditation, right? So you can imagine that it involves some thinking of some loving, kind thoughts. Okay, so that's really the essence of what the loving kindness meditation is about. Think loving, kind thoughts. Meditate on loving, kind thoughts. Okay, so in step 1 of the process, what you do is you think loving, kind thoughts, and you think loving, kind thoughts, you make yourself the object of the loving, kind thoughts, okay, or the subject of the loving, kind thoughts. I always get confused about, well, are you the object or the subject in this case? But no worries. Look, I'm going to literally tell you what you're going to think right now. So whether you're the subject or the object of those thoughts, whatever, just think this thought or these thoughts. So in general, like the thoughts that I'm thinking are, may I be happy? May I be healthy? May my heart be full of love. May my heart be full of peace. So that's step 1, thinking loving, kind thoughts about myself or for myself. Okay? May I be healthy. May I be happy. May my heart be full of love. May my heart be full of peace. Awesome. Step 2, think loving, kind thoughts. But now think loving, kind thoughts for somebody that you love, okay, that you deeply love and care about. So for me, a lot of times, like I'll pick on different people, but a lot of times among the first people who pops up in my mind is my mom. Other times I may choose my sister or my dad or my brother or one of my best friends. Doesn't matter, just as long as you really care about this person. So let's say I pick my mom. Now, so what am I going to do? I'm going to think exactly the same loving, kind thoughts that I thought for myself. Now I'm going to think them for my mom. So I say, may my mom be happy. May my mom be healthy. May my mom's heart be full of love. May my mom's heart be full of peace. May mom be happy. May mom be healthy. May mom's heart be full of love. May mom's heart be full of peace. Right? That's step 2. Step 3 is you're going to continue to think loving, kind thoughts, and they're actually going to be the same loving, kind thoughts, but now you're going to think them with somebody or for somebody that you neither love nor hate, somebody that you just feel very neutral towards, right? For example, it could be just like a casual acquaintance that you have that you don't have any particularly strong feelings for. Or it could even be like the grocery store clerk that you happen to run into earlier in the day or something like that, right? So just somebody that you feel very neutral towards. So let's say it's the grocery store clerk that I want to focus on. Step 3. So I will just bring to my consciousness that person, and if I don't know their name, I can just use a generic pronoun and say, oh, may she be happy, may she be healthy, may her heart be full of love, may her heart be full of peace. And I know who her is, right? Because I'm holding on to that idea of this person in my mind. It's clear that I'm referring to the grocery store clerk, so it doesn't matter that I don't know her name, right? It's just about the intention, being clear in your intention, and just make sure that you have one specific person that you're directing the loving, kind thoughts to. Okay, so that's step 3. Step 1, do it for yourself. Step 2, do it for someone you love. Step 3, do it for someone that you just feel very neutral towards. Step 4, can you guess? That's right. Step 4 is when you pick a person that you're feeling some kind of negativity towards, that you are having some kind of conflict with, okay, that you maybe need to practice forgiveness towards, okay? So, again, you can just hold that person in your mind, and then let's say, like in my case, I'm thinking of the person who abused me. I was like, it was a him, so I'm just going to use the generic pronoun. I was like, may he be healthy, may he be happy, may his heart be full of love, may his heart be full of peace, may he be happy, may he be healthy, may his heart be full of love, may his heart be full of peace, and so on and so forth. So that's the basic process. Okay, 4 steps, 4 different people. Start with yourself, then someone you love, then someone you feel neutral towards, and then someone you're in conflict with or holding negative emotions for. Okay, now I can tell you, again, just in terms of logistically, how long do you do each step? Well, I mean, look, you can put yourself on a timer and be like, okay, I need to give myself 20 minutes in total and spend 5 minutes on each step of the process, right? So if you're, for example, listening to a guided audio of the loving kindness meditation, that's probably the way you'll experience it, right? Because, I mean, obviously the audio needs to have a time limit. So, it'll probably just divide up the time between the 4 stages or 4 steps equally, which is fine, which is a great way to do it. Or another way you can do it is like if you have more time, you're just doing it and you're able to just do it more organically, and you don't want to worry about has it been 5 minutes yet or not, all that kind of stuff. Then you just start with step 1 and keep going with step 1 until you feel complete. You can actually feel the sense, like it's a very tangible shift that happens. It's an internal shift in your mindset and in your emotional sensibilities. It's like, you're saying, may I be happy, may I be healthy, may my heart be full of love, may my heart be full of peace. And when you first start saying these things, when you first, start reciting, maybe you don't really, maybe it's just like a little bit robotic. You're just doing it because that's what you're supposed to do. But, it can take you a while to like really sort of get focused on these thoughts, right? And to really begin to feel the sense of loving kindness. And when you really begin to feel the sense of loving kindness, like, I'm receiving that loving kindness. Like, I can really feel that I really mean it for myself, Like, there's this tangible shift that happens in your experience. Now, I cannot tell you how long it'll take for you to begin to experience that shift. It depends on where you're at in your level of growth and development. It's like if you are somebody who is used to meditating, for example, you'll probably find it much easier to get focused and have your other thoughts and distractions, be able to quiet them and sort of let them go much sooner than later, right? And so then you'll experience that shift much sooner. if you already have a much healthier relationship with yourself, if you already, love yourself, accept yourself, as you are, you're likely to, begin to feel that sense of loving kindness towards yourself very, very quickly, right? But if you are still in a place where you have a relatively unhealthy relationship with yourself, my gosh, this step can actually be pretty tough. I'll tell you, in all my experience doing this for myself and also working with my clients, because I teach all my clients how to do the loving kindness meditation, and they practice it. So I can tell you the 2 steps in the process that are the most challenging for people. Step 1, where you are focusing on yourself with the loving kindness, and step 4, where you are focusing on that person you feel a sense of conflict with, right? Yeah, because my gosh, it's easy to think loving kind thoughts for somebody that you love. And right after you have been thinking loving kind thoughts for someone that you love, it's actually generally pretty easy to think of loving kind thoughts even towards somebody that you feel pretty neutral towards, because thinking the loving kind thoughts actually impacts the way that you're feeling, right? Because remember, that causal chain. The way we think impacts the way we feel. Directly, right? There's a direct causal connection between the way we think and the way we feel. So when you begin to think loving kind thoughts, it just helps you to begin to feel more loving and kind, right? So it becomes relatively easy for you to just extend those loving kind feelings towards someone that you're feeling neutral towards, right? But my gosh, when it comes to the person you're feeling in conflict with, depending on how deep that sense of conflict is for you, it could be really, really, really difficult, right? Yeah, I remember when I first started practicing the loving kindness meditation, and and I was like, okay, so step 4, and I had to think about somebody that I was in conflict with. Of course, the very first person that popped up into my head was this person who had abused me. So I was like, oh, God, no, what? No, I felt such a strong sense of resistance. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. I tried, but I was like, okay. It's just do it. So I actually forced myself, but just throughout that whole time, and I was saying those words, it was ugh. I actually had my eyes closed, so I couldn't, it was not like I could see what I was looking like, but I could feel my facial muscles contracting in this really unpleasant facial expression. I was oh, and I felt a sense of I don't want to do this. I don't want to wish this person well. I don't want him to be happy. I don't want him to be healthy. Oh my gosh, it was very, very intense experience, trying to pray for the person. Wow. So it took me a long while before I got to the point where I just found myself engaging in the loving kindness meditation and being able to pray for this person, and just do it from a really genuine place and really mean it. It took me several years to get to that point. Consistently practicing, engaging in the meditation, right? But what I will tell you, that the more I practiced, the easier it got, right? The easier it got, the less sense of resistance that I felt. Okay, so there is a value that even if you feel that sense of resistance, look, just do the best you can. Just do the best you can to just go through the process anyway. Okay, because again, remember, think back to that causal chain. The way you think impacts the way you feel. Okay, so now if the feelings that you're trying to change are really deep feelings that you've been holding on to for like years and years possibly, and you're like really attached to those feelings, I mean, why should you expect them to just change instantaneously, or just because you think different thoughts once or twice? If you have been experiencing, like living with these negative feelings for years and years, like I was, why should it be unreasonable for me to find that, hey, it takes me a few years to really transform these feelings into positive feelings? Why should that be surprising? So be patient with yourself, okay? And just go through the process the best you can. Now, in terms of, if you really, really, really cannot go through the step 4 because you're just feeling so resistant, then okay, one thing that I suggest, I've actually had 1 or 2 clients for whom this was the reality, that they really couldn't do it, that they just couldn't focus. And so I was like, okay, so in that case, what I suggest is go back to step 1. Okay, but first put in your best effort to engage in step 4 with that person in mind that you're holding the negative feelings for. But if you really find yourself struggling to do it, and you really feel like I cannot keep this up, then just go back to step 1 and think more loving, kind thoughts for yourself. Okay, so that's my suggestion for that. And by the way, in case you didn't pick up on this already, or it wasn't obvious to you, the order in which we proceed is very important. Okay, so it's really, really critically important that you begin with yourself, and then you go to the person you love, then the person you feel neutral towards, and then the person that you're in conflict with. Do not begin with the person that you feel neutral with. Do not start with yourself. A lot of people are just like tempted to just kind of like, oh, I'll just start with the person I love, or whatever. But no, the order is really important. So I'll talk to you a little bit more in the next episode about why the order is so important, because it is really, really important. All right, so let's reflect on that next episode. In the meanwhile, I just want to remind you that, hey, look, if you find yourself struggling with this, please do not continue to struggle with it on your own. Reach out for help and support. You will make your life so much easier if you do. And I'm one person that you can reach out to for the help and support that you need. And you know how to get in touch with me. Just go to my website at www.academyofthriving.com. Click on the Contact Us tab, and you will see all the different options you have for how you can contact me. All right, so until we connect next time, I wish you lots of peace and joy.